my job, as dumb as it sounds, is to have an online presence and tell people what I think about things. That is literally my job, and it's the dumbest thing I think I've ever... As a child, I couldn't have come up with a dumber thing than that. But here we are. It's been like a month since my last video, and I just wanted to touch base and let people know that I'm doing okay. I've still got all of my chronic stuff, my chronic illnesses, that sort of thing. But they're being managed. You know, I've got doctor's appointments like every week or every other week or sometimes multiple times a week, depending on how things line out. Last month was a busy month as far as doctor's appointments were concerned. I feel like this month is going to kind of pick back up on some of that for... It's just that time of year for my yearly checkups and that sort of thing with different doctors. Some of that we got out of the way in January. Yay! But one of the issues with having a chronic condition or multiple chronic conditions like I do is that sometimes you just have bad days and there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't, like, you can drink all the water in the world, you can drink your coffee, your juice, take your meds and your vitamins, and just none of it helps. And sometimes that's just the way it is. So you have to just kind of roll with that when it happens. But like I mentioned, you know, like certain things are getting better. You know, like I've had more energy lately. If you follow my main channel, you'll see that I've been posting more content. I'm excited about that. Recently started a new Proxmox series, which I want to do another video on. But yeah, so like things are getting better. But this being my fourth attempt at making this video, hopefully I can get this thought out without rambling too much. I'm having a difficult time dealing with certain sections of the general public who see me post online and just assume that that means I'm 100% and I'm doing well and that I can take on their bullshit as well as my own. And that's... I've been struggling a lot with that lately because over the last couple of months, I've had a lot of bullshit dropped in my lap for reasons that I don't fully understand. I've been dragged into a lot of drama unnecessarily that wasn't my drama to deal with. And that's frustrating because I do have my own stuff going on. I do have my own health stuff going on. I've got my own day-to-day life going on. I've got, you know, I've got a kid to deal with. I'm married. Like, I've got stuff going on. And from mid-January, you know, even when I was still in the hospital in January, from mid-January until like early April was rough. It was rough for a lot of reasons. You know, I was still recovering. When you've got an underlying chronic condition like Wegener's, which is granulomatosis with polyangiitis, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. It's just having that condition can be exhausting, right? Because it has gone after my heart, my lungs, my kidneys, my brain. Like, it's gone after basically everything vital to my systems. And even if I'm not having a full-fledged flare-up, again, some days are worse than others. So then you add, in January, I had pneumonia, bilateral pulmonary embolisms. Again, that's blood clots in the lungs. I had blood clots in my legs. I also got COVID while I was in the hospital. So I've spent the last 3 or 4 months just completing my recovery from that. And some of you who know me personally, even some of you who don't know me personally, will know that I've got a 15-year-old nonverbal autistic kid who's a great kid most of the time. But when I was hospitalized in January, he took that hard, really, really hard. And because he doesn't understand how to deal with and express his emotions, when he gets overly frustrated, when he gets overwhelmed, when he gets too overly stimulated, whatever, he very often lashes out with violence. And we're not talking about little violence. We're talking about trying to choke out Rachel in the bathroom. We're talking about, you know, sweeping people my size off their feet like they don't weigh anything. And look, I'm 250, and I've seen him take people my size off their feet without even a thought. So since when I got home at the end of January, clear up through the beginning of April, sometimes multiple times a day, I was having to physically restrain him to keep him from hurting people. I got to tell you, when you're already weak from an existing condition, and then you add on basically three more lung conditions, and then you have to basically start wrestling, grappling, that sort of thing, to keep everyone, including him, from getting hurt. It's exhausting. It's physically exhausting, and it's mentally exhausting, because you're always on edge. So, and look, this isn't his fault. This isn't our fault. This happened as a result of, at the beginning of January, we were doing a med change, and then I got hospitalized, and then the doctor who was doing the med change left their practice, or the practice where they were working, and everything got fucked. So his meds were off, I was gone, the whole world got turned upside down, and he didn't know how to handle that. So as a result, my recovery time was skewed, and Rachel has been a huge help, but the reality is Gage can pick her up and throw her around if he wants to. I've seen him do it. So there are certain times where I have to intervene. I have to get into a position where I'm handling that. Now, I will say, since April, we've got a new psych, we've got new meds. He's doing really, really well. Again, 90% of the time, and it's been wonderful. It's honestly part of the reason that over the course of the last few weeks, I've felt well enough to start creating content again, because I'm not as mentally and physically overwhelmed constantly. So there's been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that has affected my ability to just sometimes get through a day, let alone create content or respond to every email or respond to every comment that I get on social media or respond to every message I get. Like, there are just days where I just can't. There are weeks where I just can't. But I can't post that stuff online. My job, as dumb as it sounds, is to have an online presence and tell people what I think about things. That is literally my job, and it's the dumbest thing I think I've ever... As a child, I couldn't have come up with a dumber thing than that. But here we are. Like, there's no way in the 80s and 90s that I would have ever thought, oh yeah, people are going to pay me for my opinion. Never thought that was going to happen. So in order to maintain a certain level of presence, I guess, I don't necessarily have all of the same luxuries of posting every time I have a shit day online, because most of my stuff is public. Yes, I could publish stuff and have it, like friends only or whatever, but people don't want to see that. So I don't post that very often unless there's a bigger issue at hand. So I have to put on a front, whether I'm having a good day or a bad day or whatever. Every day is a good day when you post on social media. That's the way it has to be. And I think that sucks. But it is what it is. I chose to be in this position to find a way for people to pay me for my opinion, right? So I then have to kind of suffer the consequences of that decision. But that's kind of the behind the scenes of what's going on. Like, my medical stuff is getting better. And it's been getting better faster over the course of the last month, again, because the kid is doing better, our stress levels are down, which of course relieves some of the mental and physical taxation of just day-to-day chronic stress. And I hope to keep moving in this direction. I want to be clear about that. I hope I keep moving in this direction because I enjoy creating content. I want to create content. It makes me feel good to create content. Even this is me hanging out in my backyard with my phone and my gimbal, just sitting here on a chair. Even this gives me a feeling of completion, and that's ego. It's absolutely ego. But that's why I haven't really posted much on this channel over the last month. It's why my posting on my main channel has been kind of sporadic. A lot of the stuff that you do see me post on different social medias has been scheduled so that I don't have to deal with it later if I'm having a bad day. Sometimes stuff is scheduled days or even weeks in advance. So believe it or not, when you get on YouTube, when you get on Facebook, when you get on Twitter or Mastodon or whatever, the people posting the stuff that they're posting, whether it's videos or pictures or text posts or blog posts or whatever, there's a person behind that, unless you're using AI, but even that has to be initiated by a person. my point is that understand that people who post constant good stuff are liars, which I know sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's true. Everybody has bad days. Some people have more than others, but we're all just trying to get through this. And in order to maintain a certain level of followability, we have to keep posting the positive stuff and not post as much of the negative stuff. So that's why I haven't been posting on here as much. But I'm hoping with things getting better, I'm hoping that I can start posting on here more. And if you guys have got questions, of course, leave that in the comment section. I'll try to answer as many as I can if I can. But yeah, that's just kind of the quick update as far as what's been going on with me. I hope again you guys are having a great day, great week, great whatever. But I think I've kind of got my thing out. So I don't have my thing. I got my point across. What I'm trying to say there. So anyway, that's my update. Again, thank you guys for hanging out, spending a few minutes of your day with me today, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.